Hi, my name is Aksik, aka Annika. Welcome to my channel. And I've decided to do a haul video for the month of August and September and other bits of October. Mainly because I was kind of trying to be reasonably good, but then I had the remnants of pretty bad coloring slump, and then I got really sick in the kind of a second half of September, and all my good intentions have kind of gone off somewhere in the far distance. So I have a fair bit of stuff I got to show, and also I got some happy mail and some surprise collaboration stuff that I was kind of pleasantly surprised about, and quite happy to do. So I'm going to show you everything. This video is probably going to be quite a bit of doozy. There's quite a lot of books, although I've been saying I do not need more books. I just need to kind of tighten up my shelves and probably do a bit of a culling there. But yeah, there's some new books, well, quite a few new books as well. Some of them, from the Happy Mail, and all sorts of bits and pieces. I actually didn't buy that much art materials, but I still ended up with a fair bit because of reasons which I'm going to talk about. So let's clear up this desk a little bit, and I'll start with art materials. So let's put the books away for the time being, so they wouldn't interfere. It's quite a lot of bits and pieces, which it didn't really feel like much at all, but it did end up. It has been now almost 3 months. So my first thing I actually wanted to show you, surprisingly enough, kind of getting those out of the way, because I will also use them throughout this video, is my two notebooks. One is, I got myself this one. It's basically the dot grid notebook, very simple one. And I decided that from basically August on or so, I think I got it in August, I'm moving my swatches, at least certain swatches, possibly not watercolors and stuff, but most of kind of like pens and markers, acrylic markers at least, I am going to move into this notebook. It's just really easy to, I used to have all sorts of, I used to have a really big swatch book, which was awkward and took loads of space on the desk. And I used to have big, huge A4 folder, which was even more awkward. So now I thought, I'm going to keep it really contained. I'm not that huge into swatching to start with. So whenever I need it, for certain things, I do want to do it. So I'm going to keep it in kind of this neat, tight format. So that's for that. And I will, use that book during the video for kind of showing stuff. And the second one is this one, which I got in Eason's, which is kind of a big national big bookstore chain here in Ireland anyways. And this notebook, it's really cute. I love the cover picture and the foiling, and the badges are just so cute. It also has this kind of a raised embossed texture, which you won't be able to see, but it's lovely to touch. And then it has this side protection, which has magnets. I just love that. And I'm using it for, I had Amanda's coloring planner, which I am not saying any bad words about. Absolutely fantastic planner for people who are more into planning. it has loads of different features and loads of different fields, which I'm not really feeling. Like, I'm not that person. So I kind of gave up on that one because it was just loads of wasted pages that I'd never filled in. I pretty much used it for just recording finished pages. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just putting down my finished pages and then maybe some notes for the month or, you know, whatever. You know, I might put purchases on here as well, although to be honest, you know, I can just see that in my email and, you know, in my history. So then, these two, and then there's one more notebook that I kind of forgot about, but now I'm looking at it, so I might as well show it to you. And that's this one, which is, I got it from Temu. It was quite cheap. Somebody even asked about that and I forgot to give them a link. There's different designs on Temu with the same kind of very embossed, a very textured, it's essentially the dragon on it is 3D. And it has a mix of cream and tan paper. So once again, you know, I use it for certain swatching and, you know, in videos. So another notebook, it was just practical for me. The next thing I got is I discovered that my old Winsor Newton ink, which I had neglected, had kind of become a clump. So I got myself a new white ink. I had been using mostly Amsterdam white acrylic ink, but I wanted the white India ink as well. And I got myself nib pens. These also came from Temu. They came with kind of extra nibs as well, which I'm not going to pull, you know, out at the moment. Basically, I want to try out covering the lines with them and adding accents with them. Technically, they should be kind of more controllable. At the moment, I just, you know, don't have much know-how with them. So I'm actually struggling controlling the line weights and, you know, how they go down. They don't really like soft paper, for example, or kind of a crime paper. They like very smooth paper. So, but, you know, I'm testing and playing with them a little bit. Then, to get out of the way, some easy stuff. When I was putting in Temu order, which I had a Temu order, I got myself a pile of these. Some of them were double-sided, and then, well, all the black and white ones are double-sided. So basically, I felt that I was wasting a lot of that style of a bookmarks. And I decided that it would be, and because I need to, you know, constantly mark pages, and I take them out and I put them back on, and I do try to put them back on here when I've used them, but the ink, the glue does kind of wear off with a couple of uses, and then you still have to toss them. So I thought these ones, you know, would be pretty much permanent. You know, I could use them over and over and over again. So I got myself a good handful of them, and that should do me for a long time. Long time. Another thing that I got that is just kind of a practical stuff, I had noticed that I had actually run out of that thickness of washi tape. I don't even know I don't remember exactly what the thickness is. I don't have a good... basically it's I think quarter-inch for washi tape, and it's the sort of exact thickness that is really great for creating kind of a clean white frame on a coloring page, you know, where there isn't too much space around the image, that you can, you know, that sort of a thickness is good for protecting page next to it or something. But if you just want to create a frame all around the page, that thickness is better. And I did have some of that thickness, but they have very kind of a strong patterns or colors, which would mess with my color perception when I'm doing the page. I don't like it, you know, when I have very strong patterns or very strong colors framing the page, because it just interferes. So I got this packet very cheap from Temu once again, which has loads of different patterns, but they're all very neutral, very muted ones, so they won't really mess much with how I see the page. Now, then, acrylic markers. I had gotten first to try out these. Let's talk about these first. So I have a video about them, about not specifically them, but comparison between these and the Longuo ones. Basically, they go down. They are once again to the direct feed system. So you shake them. Sometimes you have to tap them against the table first to get the ball bearing inside going, and then you can hear it whilst it's going. Give them a good aggressive shake, and that gets the ink flowing and liquid and more opaque, you know, so you wouldn't have really, you know, thin paint or ink coming out. As you can see, that's the kind of a direct feed system. So they go down pretty juicy. This is that's a moment. It seems to be one of my favorite types of, you know, it goes down nice and juicy. If I move the page a little bit, you can see how wet it is. This seems to be one of my favorite types of acrylic markers. You do get, you know, there's quite a lot of ink that comes out, so if you want to wash them out direct on the paper, that's very easy. You can pick the paint with a water brush directly from the brush and put it down as a wash on a paper. So they're really versatile. You can also blend them with themselves, you know, kind of on the paper directly. I have a video about, you know, what you can do with acrylic markers like these. So these ones and these ones I got myself kind of like to test the colors, to test how opaque they were. And the verdict is that these silver barrel ones, which seem to be coming, they're definitely white labeled, and quite a lot of brands use exactly these ones. I think, was it warmer ones that are essentially, you know, these ones? And, you know, there's a lot of different kind of brand names that sell these exact markers, which are clearly made, you know, in one factory under their brand name. And where is my swatch for them? So these are the blues, and they go down. The first layer goes down, like it almost feels kind of more transparent and more matte. You can get pencil on top of the, you know, just if you just put one layer down pretty well, even if you don't wash them out. Although, you know, I still usually prefer to wash them out, but you can. But then the second layer, surprisingly enough, you get lovely opaque finish, and which then almost immediately becomes quite glossy, you know, satiny, which, you know, I would not recommend to put the pencil on top. And then there's the silver-bodied greens, and this is that set. So, yeah, I like them. I just, you know, kind of picked two colorways that I use a lot anyway, which I, you know, appreciate if I have loads of different color variations. I like that those sets have quite a lot of dark colors as well, which are often a bit of a challenge to find in acrylic markers, because, you know, to get them opaque or more opaque, usually what companies do is to add white for opacity, and that of course makes everything, yes, more muted, but also, you know, it's very hard to get really dark colors if you add white. So that's about that. And the second acrylic markers that I didn't know much about, and I wanted, especially kind of, you know, I wanted to make that video about comparisons. I bought 2 sets of these. These are now Hoele, and it seems to be now proven, you know, by all the websites and all the kind of listings all over the place that those are GuangNa, brand of GuangNa markers. You know, it's just kind of a new brand of theirs, although I can't see GuangNa anywhere on the packaging, but apparently they are made by GuangNa. And I liked the colors in these. One of the reasons I wanted to get them, I like these yellow greens package. This is the colors. They're kind of quite interesting colors and hard to find colors. They have beautiful autumnal greens and yellow greens. Just, you know, just see using them in autumn page. And these ones, which I need to find that one. It's basically like dark colors, but unlike the colorful blacks by GuangNa, they are dark colors, but bright dark colors. Here they are. And these are also kind of, you know, challenging colors sometimes to find, kind of dark version of most of the colors. So these also same thing, but these ones I consider the least opaque of them. They also have the same feeding system as I was, once again, sometimes it's good to tap it against the table so the ball bearing gets going, and then shake them aggressively. Make sure that you really shake them. And, you know, the same feeding system. They call it direct feed or liquid feed, or, you know, there's different names or different translations, but that's essentially what it is. And they are, I consider, of the 4 types that I have, the GuangNa, kind of old main ones, the black barrel ones, essentially that style look. These ones, then Langwo ones, which we all know, but I can show you. Of these ones, the white, once again, they have the same feed system. I consider these Hoele ones to be the least opaque. I had to do 3 layers of that to get anywhere near opacity. And even then, I didn't find the finish amazing. But, you know, once again, you know, if you put them down just in 1 layer, it's not very glossy, so you could get pencil on top of it a little bit easier. But I do like them for washing out and creating bases, and I like the colors. So that's about it. That's all about these. Already talked too much about them. There's just quite a lot of stuff to talk about, so we don't want to go overboard. Now for these ones, oh, let's do the acrylic stuff first. Okay, so this is actually kind of a boo-boo on my side. I find that in most acrylic brush markers, yellows and dark oranges, kind of really, you know, vibrant darker oranges, are quite challenging to find. No, the choice isn't amazing, and, you know, I would like to get like really strong dark, almost terracotta-ish oranges, which I still, you know, haven't really found very well. But, you know, so I got this set, which I thought I didn't really investigate as much as I should have, because it said acrylic marker, and I thought they were also, you know, a type of acrylic brush marker, but they're not. They are actually fine liners. So this is what they are. They are 1 millimeter, according to this anyway. I think they are 1 millimeter, yeah. And they have this protection underneath, which you can pull off. I have kept it on so far. I will probably lose them sooner or later. They also have some sort of a feeding system here, but you don't need to shake them. But they do right away as you start, and they are acrylic, kind of a fine liners. I can show you here. I did swatch them. These are the colors, and I do like the color selection. You know, it really goes in a nice gradient for really pale cream to nice kind of almost vermilion. you know, and this is pretty decent, kind of a dark orange, you know, red leaning orange. So I do like them. I do like how they write as well. Just a second, I'm going to pull out the place I can simply scribble. I'm going to take a darker one so you can see the results the best. And as I said, you don't need to shake them. They, you know, don't have any ball bearing or anything inside. They do have those nib protectors on, which they have. I don't know. I presume that they expect that people lose them almost immediately, but you know, maybe they want us to keep them. I so far I've tried to keep them on, and you just put them on the paper and they come down very juicy immediately. Beautiful colors, and they now have intrigued me. I am trying to kind of tell myself you don't need more of them. You can also wash them out, obviously. Beautifully. Lovely colors, lovely paint. So, yeah, I really like them. But at the moment, I've been telling myself that this yellow set for time being is absolutely enough, and I do not need more colors. We'll see how long that lasts. But, you know, genuinely, I shouldn't really need, because, you know, I have plenty of different... But I did like those colors. I have found that sort of a, you know, pure gradient challenging to find. Yeah, these are the Langua gel pens, you know, the 1mm acrylic ones. And even then you can see, you know, there's not that many yellows. And oranges are kind of also scarce and fairly pale. Whereas here you have, you know, nice, strong oranges and red oranges. So this is what I was looking for. Strong red orange, and I got it here, but I thought it was brush marker, but I don't mind that it isn't. They're, you know, very much usable as they are, for, you know, for how I work on the pages. And then another thing that I got now a couple of water-based things, very little. This is Goldfaber Aqua Dual markers. This set is called Flowers. Here you can see the colors. They are swatched here as well, but there's no point finding it. You can see the colors here. These are one of my favorite water-based markers that I've discovered kind of in last half year or so. Thanks to Waymire, I think. Waymire one in my comment section. One of my very loyal and lovely and knowledgeable viewers. And they are very much in Tombow style. You know, kind of, although they have the kind of fine liner at one end and really nice, fantastic brush on other end, they are very easily, if you know, if we want to wash them out, they wash out really easily on correct papers, of course, you know, not on every paper, but they're very juicy. And you can also, you can see, you know, even on that paper, which isn't the bestest, you know, for washing them out, you can wash them out beautifully. Really like them, like the colors, like the color names, because they go kind of by classic names, so you can pretty much tell by the name what you're going to get. You know, this one is just pink. But there's, you know, like light magenta and permanent carmine. You know, everybody who knows a little bit about colors knows those color names. You know, middle chrome, yellow, chromium, green, opaque, lavender, dark. So yeah, beautiful colors in this set, and very, very glad that I got it. I kind of only buy these if there's a special, because they're not cheap. So if I find a good deal somewhere, but in this case, I was actually with my kids in a shopping center, and there was a little kind of an art shop there, and they did have a good price for that set. So I picked it up actually in person, which is very rare for me here in Ireland, because we don't really have many art shops or, you know, places to pick up stuff like that. And the other thing I picked up that day was this one, and this is Faber-Castell Pitt Pens set The pigment pens, obviously, everybody most of us know these, and it's meant to be like winter colors. Here are the colors. They have cool mixing colors and, kind of washing out colors for wintry landscapes, and they do work, absolutely. So I picked them up, and I will put them together with my Staedtler pigment pens, and they will get a fair bit of use. And another, oops, things dropping. Another water-based thing that I got is these. They are the Ecoline brush pens. They are, I think, watercolor. From what I know, they are actually watercolor paint, concentrated watercolor paint. They're not, I don't think they're dye-based. They are actual watercolors. So, yeah, they look like this. Whole marker body is full of watercolor, obviously. Nice brush tip, fairly soft brush, very juicy. These ones, I actually find that gold fibers, for me, depending on the paper, to be honest, on some papers gold fibers wash out better than these. On some papers it's opposite. On this paper they pretty much behave equally. Like, you could see how easily it washed out. I had before a 12 set of pastels, and I had autumn colors set, and then I got this one, and I don't think I'm going to get any other ones because that pretty much covers the needs for me. I have the pastel colors for direct kind of a basing in the book itself, and I have these dark colors for kind of mixing and diluting, because from these colors I can make myself really dark colors, or I can dilute them and have almost endless array of different tones and strengths. And I did like the tones as well. Let me see. Okay, here it is. This on the top here, that's the colors. The Ecoline Dark 10 set. Did I say 12? It's 10. It's not. What annoys me about these both Ecoline and Gold Faber sets is that the pens repeat in sets, so you end up with duplicates. For example, I did have Autumn set, which I really like. These colors, really, really interesting colors, and I'm glad I got this one. But Sepia Deep is also in this dark color set, so that can be a bit of a pain, but yeah, I can't really do much about it. So yeah, these ones can now come out of the box, which I would prefer, and then I'll be happy out, and I'm using them quite a bit. They're great for basing, but I do tend to use these ones. These ones are not meant for me that much for basing directly on the paper, unless it's a paper that I can utterly wash the pencils, wash the pens out. There are books like this that you can put water-based marker down and wash it on the paper directly out, but they're quite rare. Well, not as rare as you would think. I have actually a video about that with a selection of books that you can do it. If you want to, maybe I remember and put it into my description. If not, you can just look in my video library. But these ones, mostly I would scribble onto I have this plastic cutting mat, and then I essentially, pick them up with a water brush or mix them, and use them for basing like that. And because of how dark they are, I can do either really thin washes or really vibrant, kind of a strong shading with them. So, good set. Like, good, do things that I tend to kind of like to get is, if I don't want to get the full set, is really darks and then pastels, which I have not yet swatched here, and I will. they are kind of next to me, and I will do it. I keep forgetting to swatch the pastel ones there as well, so they would all be together. Next thing, now this is now the last thing of the art materials that I actually got myself, and I got it myself because I had such a good experience with the previous version of kind of them, and those were called Ohuhu art markers, and they were essentially like Tombow dupes, only with loads of really beautiful, very pastel tones. They have pretty much exact kind of a logic of Tombows. Beautiful, really nice chunky brush, which handles gorgeously, and is genuinely, those are, you know, they are light tones. They are like super light, and actually go on paper super light. But sometimes, you know, it looks like the super light on the casing, but they actually go down beautifully, and they blend out the paper beautifully as well. I'm not going to start showing you in this video, otherwise it will go on forever. But yeah, they were beautiful, but they were discontinued. This was kind of a like side quest thing. Oh, and the other end, I forgot to show you. And these ones used to be this kind of a like felt tip, you know, tight, small felt tip pen. So these were like Tombows essentially. And then this set has come out. Like, it's fairly new for me. I just discovered it very recently, and they're called dual tip journal pens, and they are now once again kind of, you know, their answer to Tombows. Only main difference is that, you know, here's the 80 colors. It's hard to kind of show because you have to, this case opens kind of long. So you have to do it like this, and then you do the other side that opens like this. And there's 80 of them here. And the tips, let me show you once again. It has that beautiful, and that, you know, is genuinely nice brush. You know, lovely and juicy pens. Dissolve with water nicely. I can show you in a second. But they have kind of fine liner instead of that felt tip, which I kind of prefer because I like adding textures often, and kind of patterns, and extra strength with fine liners, or kind of a tight shading. So I kind of almost prefer the fine liners. But let me show you now. Let's take something that, let's take something red, okay? And is my water brush active? Okay, and here we go. Beautiful, easy lay down, and they wash out beautifully. You know, once again, it's often, you know, it softens as you, you know, as it dries, the line, you know, disappears and softens. I do say that the gold fibers and often eco lines do wash out more, but these are absolutely sufficiently, you know, they wash out. And they are beautiful in coloring books, both for just, you know, laying down base, you know, because of the brush, they lay down relatively smoothly. If you know how to work them, you can apply them almost streak free, unless you try to go for like really big areas, in which case I would more so use them as watercolor, or you know, wash them out anyway. I wouldn't, you know, any water-based marker, if you try to do like huge background with them, it is going to be somewhat streaking unless you apply some water or some other effects on top of it. So let's not expect impossible from them, but they were exactly what I was looking for. And here are the colors there's I think quite a lovely selection. To my a bit of a sadness, you know, it doesn't really have the same amount of really pale pastel colors like the previous art markers did, because with art markers there was 2 sets, this one and this one, that were basically like very pastel colors. With these ones, if you can get hands onto them, definitely pick them up. These, look how pastels these are, you know, they were brilliant for basing. But yeah, they're almost impossible to find nowadays. And they are discontinued. And the other set 2, was also very pastel colors. Like this, you know, like super light colors. So yeah, there are some, you know, quite a few, you know, light colors and pastel colors in this set as well. But they are not, you know, obviously as many. You know, they're more vibrant than that set. I want to re-swatch that, you know, at the moment. They're very new in my collection. I just got them, you know. I only really had time to do it here. I want to, you know, rearrange things here as a bit as well. There's things in weird places, you know, for me anyway. Like, I would not have lemon green here. I would have it, you know, somewhere here. Like, yeah. Yeah, I will rearrange them probably in the case and re-swatch them for myself, but I'm very happy with them. And yeah, like them a lot. And I also like the fact that they are nicely contained in a case like this, so very portable. So I can take just this set, you know, and sit with it downstairs with the book. And I know that my daughter has a weakness of things that are come in kind of neatly contained cases like this as well. So I can see this one doing walkies from my craft room quite a lot. And now for my kind of a biggest surprise. A couple of weeks ago, Ohuhu contacted me and asked me if I was interested in trying out some of their markers. And I told them, of course, you know, I was super flattered that, you know, they actually kind of took notice of me enough to actually contact me and say, oh, you know, are you interested? And I said, yeah, I'm interested, but I do already have your full Honolulu series. So, you know, if I can try maybe out the new types of alcohol markers which they have, which is Honolulu Plus, and these ones have the kind of a fancier nibs. Basically, they are Copic-like nibs. They have rubber nibs instead of the kind of a more fiber nibs. But they, you know, this at the moment, you know, they're kind of trying to go for kind of a more high-end range as well. And I think eventually this range is supposed to be over 400 colors. But at the moment, you know, we'll talk about that more closely, about the videos I will make about them. I will talk about them because I have many good things about to say about them, but also some caveats. Okay, so I will talk about them. They are beautiful. Here are the colors, which, you know, for 36 set there is a lot of grays. There's also 24 set, but in 24 set there's 6 overlapping colors with that set. And that's, you know, all the colors that are available at the moment. So, you know, here it is. I have, for these ones, I do have a swatch. I just, you know, got them fairly recently and I haven't really had time this week to play much at all. Here are the colors in this set. There's quite a lot you can do actually with these colors, and I have tried the tips a little bit. It's just, well, I've only had time to just tiny bit of dabbling, and the blending is beautiful. So, but I will make a video, you know, specifically about that range with comparisons with Copics and with their Honolulu regular brush markers. So yeah, I like the case. It kind of feels really nice. The leather and white and soft. It's lovely. Anyways, and then they also sent me these. And these are now really interesting. I haven't had time to play with them much yet. As I said, you know, been a busy week. I've been really tired in the evenings. Haven't really gotten to the craft room as much as I would have liked to. I kind of tend to doze after work. You know, I'm still kind of recovering from, you know, being quite sick. And these ones are the Honolulu. Once again, they have the brush nib, but they have a soft chisel. And this intrigued the heck out of me, because I know that I'm quite in minority with that, but I like chisel tip a lot. Chisel tip is great for covering big areas because it gives out the most ink, but it is always hard to blend with hard chisel tips. But they have come up with this chisel that, look at the shape. It's slightly different shape as well. It kind of tapers like this. And it is literally soft. Now, I put away my notebook, which isn't great for that one either. It's definitely not a marker paper. It's kind of very textured. But here it is. And I don't know if you can see how it literally bends. And it bounces back very well as well. But it is literally soft. And look, it almost makes heart marks. So you can cover big areas, but you can also blend and manipulate it better. And it really, I would really love to play with it more and try it out. And I can see myself liking these hugely. And this set is 48 set. And comes with the... Like, I haven't had even a chance to swatch them yet, to do anything. You know, the usual little swatch sheets, which for me are the best. I tend to take these, fill them in, cut them apart, and then actually organize them into the order that I want them to be on a swatch. And yeah, 48 set, fairly conventional kind of a... I would expect there to be quite enough colors to blend, and it's more conventional colors than, you know, the Honolulu Plus was. So I guess it's kind of in a way easier blending wise, you know, more kind of blending sets here. And wait a second. And this second set, which I'm kind of super excited about and want to try out specifically a lot, is also soft brush, but they're skin tones. And I would really like to play with these, you know, to try them on a portrait. So really looking forward to playing with that. And I will do a lot of it on the camera, you know, the play with it. And I will make a video about them. With probably kind of a quick swatching. I won't be torture you with the super long kind of every color, you know, real-time swatching. But I will do quick swatching. And, you know, talk about the pluses and minuses and what I think about them. I don't have an opinion yet. I barely, like, I've tried very, very quickly, you know, but basically when I opened them, I tried, you know, on piece of paper a little bit, but that's not enough to form an opinion. So I need to play with them a little bit more, and then I will make a video and I will film a lot of that process. And they also included, okay, in that package, these. And these, when my daughter saw them, she fell in love with that. It's like, it's so cute. It's very contained. You can see it's basically like size of the, or length of the hand, or kind of average hand. And those are Ohuhu Nahuku acrylic markers. And there's 48 of them. Color choices being quite, I think, quite well balanced. I, once again, haven't had a chance to really play with them. But from what I can see, you know, the caps at the moment, I did try them quickly on the paper, and they are the same style. Can you hear that? Yeah, the ball bearing. You can see the direct feed. So I have now another type of these. I will definitely kind of do a comparison with them. The colors look beautiful, you know, from what we can see from the little windows. I kind of peeked on these. They go down pretty nice and opaque. I tested that. They activate easily. Yeah, and what it's kind of unique to this set is there's 3 whites and 3 blacks. So, you know, for doing highlights and covering the lines, the whites, and, you know, for backgrounds and for mixing deeper colors, the blacks. So I really kind of appreciate that thought, although it of course means that there's 4 less colors in this set. But yeah, I can see, you know, myself really liking them. I like that they have, of course, because, you know, Ohuhu, they have all codes and they have actual names on the marker cap. So, you know, that's nice for ease of actually identifying them, you know, actual names for the colors. But yes, no, actually there's no names. I thought it was names, but it says shake, then enjoy. But they do have numbers. So I don't think they need the names that badly. And as typical, you know, for Ohuhu, they come with little sweatshirt. These ones come already arranged. To me, what looks like pretty decent, logical color order. Although I do have some, like, I probably would a little bit rearrange them in the case, now that I'm looking at them. And these are the colors. And to me, it looks like pretty balanced, kind of, you know, if you want a nice little contained set, that could do. But, you know, once again, I need to play with them, and I will do it. And I will do a little video about them and, you know, how they compare with other markers. Okay. So, this one, oh, I'll put that back as a, I don't want to lose it, at least for time being. But I can see one thing that I'm saying is I can already kind of suspect that once, you know, I'm done reviewing them and playing with them, I can see these ones being stolen from me because my daughter really likes them. So, you know, if you have a teenager at home, mine is, you know, 17 and she's into art, so yeah, but younger ones as well. This is lovely set for kind of present, I think, for teen. Okay, so finally we are through the art materials, which, as I said, I did not feel there was actually that much, but you know, I just had a lot to say about them because they were all kind of small sets of something. But now let's get to the books. Wondrous Folk by Karron. And I mainly bought this one because I have heard so many good things about the paper. And I wanted to just have some books that I don't fight with paper constantly, and I don't have to come up with 15 different ways how to cope with bad paper to be able to use the media that I want to use. I do like that it's one-sided, single-sided, you know, and I do like the paper. I did try quickly with real brush pens and kind of blending them out directly on the paper. And yeah, you know, here it is. You can even blend like water-based media directly on the page. There's no actual, you know, I didn't go into, I didn't take water brush or anything. I just worked directly on the paper with real brush pens. And the results are pretty nice, I think, for it. So I want to finish that, hopefully, God, please, this month. But this month, kind of, at the moment, seems to be, there's some visitors over, and I might not have much coloring time next week, possibly not even video time next week, but we'll see. we'll see how if I don't, I will keep you posted on the community tab, and kind of leave messages that I can't do videos at the moment. But you know, not saying anything yet. But yes, paper is good. Often her works tend to, well, can get into too cutesy territory for me, but not too much. Like, some of her images I really like, and some are a bit too sugary for me. So it's going to be kind of pick and mix here for me. But I do like a lot of them. And of course, you know, her skill is fantastic and they all look incredibly pretty. It's just I have to be in mood to do a pretty portrait like that. I do tend to, lately especially, prefer kind of more interesting and something more realistic and more kind of almost sometimes abstract almost stuff, although I do still love lovely beautiful portraits as well, and she has fantastic skills. I like this one quite a lot. I like that one. I've done it once and I've done it badly. Maybe I will do it again. This one is a bit too kind of pouty, you know, big eyes, pouty mouth for me. Love this one. Absolutely gorgeous. Definitely would love to do that one. So yeah, it's like sometimes pick and mix for me, kind of. Adore this one once again. Really beautiful. I like her expression, you know, the quiet pride and strength on her face. Definitely want to do that. She also has, you know, kind of thoughtful and beautiful expression. So yeah, I like it, and paper is fantastic, so I am not sad that I got it. Then I got this book. This is like very, very recent, and I mainly got it because I wanted something that would be really good for alcohol markers, and I saw it on Momo's channel. Okay, I'll put her channel name underneath the video. I saw it on her channel in her kind of haul, and she said the paper is really good for alcohol markers, and as you saw, I have a fair bit of alcohol markers to test, so I got this one specifically for that job. And they're kind of a like chibi style, but they're not they have, once again, they have character and interest and fun and kind of like little story feel to them and little scenes. They look funny and fun, and they're not just, you know, they're standing and looking cute, if you know what I mean. So I actually I'm usually not a huge chibi fan. I find them challenging to color. I often don't know how to approach them. But I did like these ones. Like, I love that one. That's basically my husband. He loves playing drums, and he has his own drum set. And yeah, it's one of his pastimes. So yeah, this is really cute. And is there anything? Yeah, so I'm not going to show you everything. You know, if you want to flip through, you can totally ask me. But this is my first attempt. I think I just, you know, had enough time to kind of test, you know, those Honolulu Plus markers. These ones I was testing on this paper. And yes, you know, this paper copes with markers really well. Really nice to color with markers here. So I will do a lot of probably testing of markers and marker coloring in this book. I have another book which is kind of more of a like manga-ish, which I might try also, which is kind of similar paper. Momo said that this paper is so smooth that, you know, pencils can be a bit of a challenge here, but I will try to do most of the shading and coloring with markers anyway. That would be my goal. That it's not that much for basing with markers, this book, but it's just doing pretty much most of the work with markers and possibly add some acrylic markers and stuff as well. I like the size of it. It's really nice and contained. It's 8 inches by 10 inches. So it's, yeah, I just really like the size. You know, it's not too small, it's not too big, nice and contained, beautiful images, really nice paper. Absolutely. You know, if you're into kind of, like, this would be probably the closest I would get kind of the cute and simple coloring, the cozy coloring. This would probably be, you know, kind of my version of it. I think if it goes, I like that the line art is dynamic, that there's, you know, kind of thickness of, the variation of line thickness. So whoever is the artist here has done a really lovely work. Phoebe Im, I think. Yeah, Phoebe Im. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's, you know, how I attempted to do it. I also got this one, which I haven't got because I just cut it, like literally just cut it. And this is Maria Trolle's Christmas book. And the reason I got it, although I had told myself, you're not getting any more Maria Trolle's book, you're fine. But this book is single-sided. And it has that beautiful Swedish paper that I really like, because you can pretty much wash out water-based markers on this one if you wanted to. It takes watercolor or any water media beautifully. It takes pencils beautifully. I just love this paper. So I kind of, once I saw that it was single-sided and there were images like this, I just love this one of the, they can use alcohol markers here if I want to, use anything I want to, essentially. Or I can go nuts with watercolors and not be super careful that the water doesn't seep to the other side. And just, yeah, I'm very glad that it was released single-sided. And I love the images. They're kind of, a lot of them are kind of easy win images. They're not super complicated, but the composition, I think her compositions are getting better. It used to be that the compositions, especially in the kind of a like Botanicum and later like in Flora and these as well, there were like pages where to me the composition was off. It was kind of hard to color it, so it would be nice and balanced. I think she's getting kind of more mindful about that. Like this, how sweet is that? It's beautiful. So yeah, I like her. I think she's gotten, better. I do know that some people say that, they prefer the earlier, more detailed images. And yeah, I can see the point. Although she does have in newer books, there's quite a lot of detail as well in some of them. Although this one doesn't really. It's quite simple images, most of them. It's kind of this easy win book. And I need something like this, easy win for Christmas. So now I essentially have 2 Christmas books. I don't have many Christmas books. I don't buy many kind of holiday books because I don't really like to do much very kind of, or have many books that are essentially, you use it 1 month or maybe 2 months a year. So I don't have much specifically Halloween books or many Christmas books. I now have Hannah Carlson's Christmas book, and I have this one. And I think there's 1 or 2 kind of more winter books, which, they have some Christmas imagery in them, but they are more so winter books than Christmas books, which I prefer because then I have longer life for them. But yeah, this is my kind of second Christmas book, and I'm happy that I got it. But, obviously I haven't started in it yet because I'm not thinking Christmas yet. It's bad enough. So these 2 I'm essentially showing together. I have already shown them in my finished pages videos. They are by Maja Säfström. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but Maja Säfström. And she is a Swedish illustrator, but these books aren't actually coloring books. They are, they're essentially like factoid books. They're very good paper. Format is lovely and contained. I can tell you how big they are. So they're about 7 and 3/4 and 6 1/4. That's how big they are. So they're kind of A4, a little bit different shape. They're not exactly A4. Let's say this is A4, that notebook. And you can see that they're wider than A4, but they are shorter than A4. But I like that shape and size a lot. I don't even know how to explain it. I really like it. And paper takes watercolor and pencils beautifully. And the images are kind of fun and naivistic, and kind of cutely imagined like this. And then there's different facts about the animals and creatures. And one book is then Animals of the Bygone Era, and another is the Illustrated Compendium of Amazing Animal Facts. And there's also a book that is about baby animals, which at the moment is quite expensive for some reason, you know, I would be ordering them. So I haven't ordered it yet, but I would kind of want it. I love just putting watercolor down in it like this, and some gel pens on top, and you know, sprinkle some watercolor or ink on it, and just create those colorful pages which are fun to look at. Take very little time. There's like tiny bit of pencil here as well, but it's like tiny bit. Mostly it's watercolors and, you know, acrylic markers. There's some glitter, there's some ink. It's just, yeah, you know, when you feel like just putting a little bit of a color down. And some of them are pretty much black like this, but some of them have more to color, or actually, you know, do color variations on. So really like it. And it's great for, you know, you can do like a couple of them in the evening if you feel like it. It's kind of easy win. It's really kind of a good creativity booster. Or if you're feeling a bit off or tired or don't really feel like doing, you know, big detailed works, then this just let your, you know, creativity flow and just put down some color, you know, and splatter some paint, and maybe do a tiny bit of shading if you feel like it. But if you don't do a tiny bit of shading, and just make black and white book into a colored book with very little work. So and yeah, so really like them. And the same, you know, the animals book is essentially exactly the same. You know, there's facts about the animals and birds, and some, I had a badger here which I had colored as well. Okay, here's the badger. So yeah, I have used water-based markers, which I have put down onto the cutting mat and picked up with the water brush, you know, to base things here. But you can just put direct water-based marker here as well, which I haven't, you know, tested out as much. You know, maybe some of them can go through. You need to test it out yourself. So yeah, just love them. Would love to get the third one as well. And this is just a whip, just random colors put down. So there, really great find, and absolutely recommend it as a relaxer book. Then this one I saw at Maya's channel, colored by Maia. She got it from that publisher, Get Creative 6. Their books have pretty nice paper, and I was drawn to really interesting, you know, distinctive art. I have weakness for books that, you know, have character like this, that you can immediately identify that, you know, this is the book, you know, that, you know, that type, you know, that I can recognize that artist's work. Kind of has quite a folk arty feel. I like some images, but basically it's built up that there's a quote on one side, and image another side. I'm not huge into quote coloring. Maybe if I just feel like putting the flat color down sometimes I might do something like this, but mostly I don't really do quotes much. But I do like some of the, not all, but some of the images on this side. Most of them, otherwise I wouldn't have got them. I really like that one, would love to do that. I like this one, the dancing woman. I like the bird, you know, I like this image. I like this image. I have a whip here that I'm not happy with at all. It's just, I don't know how to finish it, but you know, I'll see if I'm going to push myself to finish it or I just give up. And this one is so far pretty much the only finished page this month. I finished that one with just gel pens. There's nothing else here, just gel pens. Everything is done with gel pens from well, sorry, except the background, which is done with Langua Colorful Black acrylic marker. Everything else is gel pens. All the washes and all the color variations, it's all put done with gel pens. And as you can see, the paper is very good. Although, you know, if you work like wet on wet with gel pens, which I have done in a couple of pages clearly here, it will go through slightly, but not really hugely, considering, you know, how much washing out of gel pens I did there. So it has a good paper, especially kind of with working with gel pens and washing them out like this. So, you know, quite impressed with it, and it's fun. And I love, you know, I went for this folk arty feel in this one, and I think it's the right way to go here. So I wouldn't really probably go and do any pencil work much in this book at all. I would probably just work with gel pens and acrylic markers and stuff like this, and more so go for kind of maybe watercolor effects and flat color and kind of contrasts of these. But I do like the book a lot. It's fun. And then you will if you have been on my channel at all, you have all seen these 3 books, my big obsession and love, from kind of last week of August throughout all September. At the moment I haven't worked in them much, but mainly because I haven't worked much this week, which is basically beginning of October, at all. As I've said, my evenings have been off. But this is Camilla Garofano is the name of the author, Camilla Garofano. And if you want to see the ISBN, here it is. And here is the one for dinosaurs. And here is the one for unicorns. So there's the animals, dinosaurs, unicorns. And I saw them on Maia's channel. And she had seen them on the channel by a colorist called Octobercat. She's a Japanese colorist. By the way, these books I saw on Octobercat's channel as well, originally. And I absolutely fell in love with the line art in these. I really like how she draws, how she creates the compositions, the kind of a kindness and humor in her images. So absolutely love. This is a whip, obviously. That's not a finished image. Oh, the red panda, I did that. What else have I done? Oh, this is a test. This is acrylic marker there. Oh, that's the silver barrel, 2 layers of silver barrel direct feed acrylic marker. This is a finished image. The sparkles here, just to show you, you know, what I love that one, the fox image. So, you know, there's more that I want to do here, but I might, you know, kind of try, you know, not to just sit on these books in October. I might kind of put this aside a little bit to give my other books a chance as well. Here's the dinosaurs, the beautiful line art. Love the size of them. Once again, you know, they're not full A4. They're not very small. They're kind of contained. So yeah, a lot of especially for some reason in Dinosaurs. This is a surprise, because when I first saw them, I didn't think that Dinosaurs would be my favorite of them. But somehow it has, like, I worked in Dinosaurs the most. And really, for some reason, enjoyed Dinosaurs book. So here I've gone a bit overboard. These, I worked here with washed out, that's water-based marker, kind of taken from the palette and applied to a page. And obviously that went through, you know, but mostly the stuff doesn't really go through, but water-based markers, you know, if you put dye-based material very wet on the paper, then a lot of papers will kind of not tolerate that. This is obviously a whip, you know, that's not a finished image. This one is finished. This one is also finished. That's done with, once again, mostly gel pens, washing them out and also using them kind of direct as line art. And I added some extra, and there's also, I think, some acrylic marker here washed out, and then tiny bit of pencil to kind of deepen the greens there. Is there any more? Oh yeah, that one is finished. See, there's quite a lot, you know, for me anyway, especially considering I've had this book only. Oh, that one is finished. I've had this book only, what, a whip, for, what has it been? 5 weeks, 5-6 weeks. That's a lot for me. I'm usually quite slow in filling my books. And this is Unicorns, which is possibly my least favorite of them, because it's just one type of a creature, so you get kind of, you know, tired of it faster. But there's some really cool scenes here that I want to do, so I did that one. This one is just, I've been testing. This is the Hoele acrylic marker, 3 layers, and I still feel that it almost wants 4th layer. And I love the winter images here. I might, you know, do something when, you know, December or November. Like these ones are really cute winter images. There was something else that I was finished here. I know. Oh, this one is finished also. So yeah, they're absolutely wonderful books that, you know, will probably be in my top 10 for a long time. But I almost consider them to be a one book because they're not the same. Okay, and then I have also this book, which is Reyda prints that I saw on Jackie's channel. That's Spearham Studio. And she bought it because the portraits here are big. The paper is, especially now, you know, this is Amazon UK paper. I've heard that it's tiny bit better than Amazon US paper, but it's still not good. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. And you wouldn't really use kind of anything water-based much here, or, you know, any heavy media. But I have been, you know, she thought that because there have been big portraits in big areas like this, it would be great for testing kind of different interesting media like oil pastels and whatnot. So I got it, and I decided here to test out the oil pastel portrait, you know, how it would work. And yeah, you can totally do it. I did used two different oil pastels. The background, you know, that aged frame, and the green here is a Mongio, which is kind of softer and more blendable, kind of, you know, you can blend it with finger or whatever tools. And the portrait itself is done with Pentel, and this is kind of harder and smaller. So you use them almost like pencils and blend them with each other, not with tools. So yeah, I was totally able to do that here. Of course, you know, I didn't cover when I was splattering. I also managed to splatter everything around it. Yeah, not the neatest colorist, as you might have noticed. So I'm looking forward to trying, you know, more different things here. I will probably try more oil pastel at some stage, and I will probably also do some alcohol marker work here just for funsies, because that should be pretty easy to do here as well. So nice fun book, kind of easy coloring. Then this, I am a huge fan of this artist's line art. It's called Lucio Salcedo, and it's really beautiful mixed media. Like I've seen that line art is all kind of translated from actual artworks. I've seen the paintings of his. I think he uses watercolor a lot and possibly oils, and they feel very kind of mixed media and collagey, kind of art journaling. Really cool, different, fun line art. I really, if you have time, check out his art, search Lucio Salcedo. You should be able to find his Instagram. Gorgeous works. So I have tried here, when I finished here one image, I based it with satin glazing and then went on top with acrylic, a lot of acrylic marker work here. The background is purely just done with acrylic markers. There's nothing else there. And because I had the satin glazing down, I was able to pretty much work in washes. And I actually work pretty heavy washes, and you can see the paper held up pretty well, It's a little bit, tiny bit banged up at the back, but it's still quite flat. And there's loads of different media here, and the mushrooms and stuff. There's Prismacolor pencils. Most of shading was done with Prismacolor pencils, but there's also gel pens and all such, and metallic watercolors, as you can see. So it was a fun image to do. I have another whip here, but not whip, but I have started to put down kind of like base here. I would like to try to do that kind of in autumnal colors, but we'll see what happens. How will that work out for me? No guarantees, but I need to put second layer of a marker here. I need to leave it aside and kind of sort it out. But yeah, really, really cool book, and I have covered it with my matte contact film, because originally, those covers, especially if I plan to do a lot of mixed media in these books, the covers get really banged up, and this specific one was shiny as well, and I kind of prefer the matte cover, the feel of matte cover. And now I get to the final bit, which is one of my wonderful viewers sent me some books as a happy mail. She also sent some templates, which I'm not gonna show in this video. You can see those if you want to see them in a specific unboxing video I did just last week. But I got 4 books from her, and all of them are absolutely, so interesting, so rare, and, books that you don't see everywhere, and I was so excited to get them. Like, I keep complaining constantly that there's so many cat coloring books and cat books, and that there's barely any. Now, there's quite a, not many dog books. There are some, okay, couple. I know that you can think of a couple, but now think of how many cat books are there, and you get my point. So this one is basically, those are Chinese books with instructions, and they're instructions more so for watercoloring. This is not watercolor paper, so I presume, that you can see that there's instructions, how to watercolor. So I presume that they're meant that you either scan those images and print them out. But that's really the only way you can do them with watercolor, or then maybe work with pencils here. I haven't tried that paper on pencils yet. I might, or I will eventually when I get to it. But once again, really cool, interesting line arts. And there's loads of just images like this, dog on its own. And then there's some scenes, which pretty much you know, match with these line arts that are here for the watercolor paintings. Here you can see they don't really, you know, give you all the watercolor paintings the author has done, but you know, several of these, like definitely that image is in there at the back. And the other one is pretty much the same logic. Really nice dog drawings, you know, if you feel like shading a dog. But I do think that they need to be more. So here there's more samples than in the previous ones, you know, with the actual artworks. And they are stunning, you know, the way he is painting the dog. Oh, I tried watercolor here, and surprisingly enough, like very, you know, kind of slight layer, just enough to see if it would even go down as a base, and it didn't really go through, you know. I wouldn't now go working here. I'm not saying that watercolor behaved very well here. No, the paper became very soft and kind of it wasn't really moving super. It was moving all right, but you know, not really super well. But you could maybe get away with a couple of layers if you're very careful. But yeah, you would still need to go with pencils on top. But yeah, beautiful works. Really cool books. And then there's also two of these, you know, this book, which is called, okay, A Journey to Find the Flower of Happiness, Marie the Cat and Gold, and the author is Kato Friend. Here is the name of the author. Here is the ISBN. And these ones are, this one is out of print. Probably, you know, you could still, you know, if you were looking for it or keeping your eyes open, you probably would be able to find it if you really wanted to on places like eBay or used book sites or possibly Etsy or, you know, places like that. I haven't really looked since I now have it. I do presume that it would be hard to find though. And it's a really, really beautiful book. And the paper is one of those amazing papers that you can put the water-based markers down and wash them out directly on the paper. So I really like the line art here. I think it's really interesting. It has this collagey feeling. If you want more details and full flip through of that one, I do have it on my channel. Have a look. If you just look Kato Friend, you will find it. And here is the whip. I have it in it, and another whip that I have in it. So that. And the last book of this video, this has been a long going, is this one, which is called Million Christmas Furries. I called them fluffies before in the translation, but then I realized that the author herself on her Etsy website calls them furries, so I switched over to furries. Although puhnastike, to me they more translate to fluffies, but you know, it's totally up for interpretation. It's a really, really cute book. I also have a flip through of that with in-depth review of the paper, because the paper has its challenges. It does not take to water-based stuff or, you know, any water very well. Things tend to go through, and some pencils are challenging here, but it copes with watercolor pencils and ink tints and graphic tint quite well. And then you can, of course, you know, shade on top of these. So I would, if I was to work on other images here, and after I have done all the testing here, I would do the bases with some sort of a water soluble pencil, and then maybe, you know, put some extra shading on top with regular pencils. In this book, soft pencils but work better than harder pencils. Pablo's didn't work at all, and I would not also go for super softs like Prismacolor because of the paper texture. It's hard to get rid of the kind of a, you know, paper showing through, or the texture showing on Prismacolors. But it is possible. I did that with Prismacolors, and I just went over with Karron Blender. And yeah, beautiful images. If you want to see the full flip through, it is on my channel. So thank you very much for watching. That was a lot of stuff, a long video. Hopefully you didn't collapse in the middle, or maybe you just, you know, watched part of it one day and the second part of it on the other day. So thank you. And there are obviously, as I said, you know, coming eventually, once I get time more to play with them, videos about the Ohuhu, different markers. You know, there's reviews, comparisons, you know, how I work with them, that sort of a stuff. Hopefully I'll get to it soon. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. It helps other people to find my channel as well, as YouTube algorithm will offer it to more people then. And wishing you all a wonderful evening or morning or afternoon or whatever the time is in your corner of the world. Have splendid creative time, and bye bye.